Hey folks, welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 9th of December 2019. Today we're going to have a look at some pairs, some positions that we're going to be watching throughout the week. If we start here on the Euro Swiss franc, we have this really nice level that I've been watching for a while at the 111.90 area, so almost close to the 112 area. And the reason I like this is because price sat on this area for a while, and then we had a very nice sharp release. Price attempted to come back to the area, but it did not make it and continue to move lower. So I think if we manage to move up here, this is an attractive price that we've seen historically, so I'm thinking we'll get some kind of a bounce there. We also have this on the Euro Canadian dollar. This is just a really nice pattern how price moves down. We accumulate for a limited amount of time, and then price goes up, and price has not been back there since this area was established. You can see it's black space since it was established. That's a nice fresh area of demand that we can expect price to bounce at. Then we have this in the Euro British Pound. We have a trade on here where we bought and price is kind of wriggling lower. If we continue to look here, you can see, as a matter of fact, that we have a nice spot just here, how price came down and we gapped higher. The slingshot was pulled back and then we left, and we're approaching that area there. Note at the beginning of the buy zone is around here, so below this. So this is actually an area of value. You can see the price was trading pretty easily throughout this area here, and this is a pretty attractive price here. If price manages to move below these lows, I think that we'll see some buyers enter. So let's see what happens there. We have this area on the Euro Japanese yen, which I really like. Just a very, very nice departure, how price rallied. We moved sideways for a limited amount of time, and then we had a very nice strong cutaway. So when price comes down here, we'll more than likely have a bit of a bounce. And here we don't really have an opposing supply until we get up to here so far. But notice that, if you look at this here, you can see that it's just kind of price moving up and down like so. So there's no real supply yet. Okay, so we want to see something commit, show some strength, and we don't see that just yet. So I think the price could move from here and continue to move to the opposing side of this this trading range here, but we'll have to wait and see. We have the Euro Kiwi, which I think we have a nice area here. Again, price poked down, we move sideways for a little bit, and then we cut away. And notice that there's black space since its establishment and all the way into the future. Price came back, the slingshot would pull back, so the beginning of the buy zone is the low of here, and the entry would be located below this slingshot, which is nice. So we're offering tremendous value, I think, at this price level, so I think we'll be attracting some buyers once we come down to this level. And here on the Kiwi American dollar, we have a nice little price structure here. Price rallied, moved sideways for a little bit of time, and then price managed to move. And this is a good one because price rallied and we didn't stick around for very long, did we? And we had a nice departure, black space into the future. So this is a pretty interesting area, I think, here. I actually have a trade on this in my TransferWise account. About 3 weeks ago, I bought the Kiwi dollar. Let's see when I did that. Okay, so I converted some American dollars just around here, expecting that price is going to move up to this area here. And so what I do a lot in TransferWise is I have a holding of American dollar, and I wait for price charts to move to extremes, and then I take American dollars and I'll transfer them, in this case, to the Kiwi at low points in the market, and then I'll wait for the price of this asset to change. And so when this moves up to here, well, then I'll change it back from Kiwi to American dollar in my TransferWise accounts with a small profit. And because the fees in TransferWise are so cheap, that I'm doing in $1,000 blocks, and so I think for a fee of $1,000, I'm paying about $7, which is about the same. I think leverage of 1-to-1, about $7 per standard lot per round trip, and because I'm not leveraging, it's probably about the same as it is in my trading account. So they have some pretty attractive prices in TransferWise. So it's an interesting thing. Maybe I'll do a video about how to do that, because I know a lot of people are using TransferWise, and I'm using it a lot for personal reasons, and I figured, why don't I try and get some returns in my TransferWise account when I'm holding cash, because cash just sitting there is either inflating or deflating. So it's a good idea to be a little bit savvy in that regard. So that's an interesting one, I think, and I'll hold it until we get up to around here, and then I'll see what happens, and I'll convert it back if it gets there, and see if we can get a bit of a profit out of that. We do have a nice thing happening just here. This looks really nice. I like that. So this would be, again, another interesting area to look to maybe accumulate some Kiwi dollars. And this is just a very nice breakaway, how we had kind of the upward sloping lows here, and we had the flat highs. So we had kind of this triangle pattern. This is just telling us that we're having kind of prices squeezed up and then it pops up. Okay, and this is just a nice area. This breakout occurred from around the top of where this this triangle is here. And I don't trade triangles, but it's just an observation. Okay, so that's pretty interesting there. And then we have the Kiwi Canadian dollar, and this is a nice area simply because the way price cut away. When price left here, you see we had very limited amount of trading in the area, and then a sharp departure. We have green candles, one candle, and price has not been back there since. So this is the first time price is returning to this area of supply. So I think that'll be an interesting situation once price gets there. If we have a look on the daily chart, you can see it's just a low here. We do have this other area just here, which is nice as well. And I just like this one here because it's just very clear on the 4-hour chart. And so I'll hold that and see what happens once price gets up there. I also have this position in the market waiting this pending order on the Kiwi Swiss franc at around the 65.19 area. This is just a very nice departure, how price came. We gapped down, we went up, moved sideways a little bit, and then price really pushed away, and it all originated from these white candles here. So I'm thinking that when price managed to get up there, we got close and we turned around, but if we manage to poke into here, then I think we'll be doing all right. We also have gold versus the American dollar, and we have, you can see how price managed to move up to here. These are the highs. This is the beginning of the sell zone, and above that we formed this nice area of supply. So price rallied, we accumulated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 periods, and then price cut away. And this is a very healthy, very strong push away. This is showing us that we have enormous selling from around this price point here. So this is again above the upper edge here, and again black space since it was established. And so I'm thinking once price comes here, then we'll probably see some selling re-involve themselves in the market. We look here at the American dollar, Japanese yen. This is the daily chart. I really like this, and this is interesting because we have a parent and we have a child, and these are on top of each other. And then when this candle closed, price gapped down. Okay, so this is a really nice, strong departure from this area. We had an attempt to move higher. We got to here, which didn't last for very long, and price has not been back since. So I think as soon as price starts to move up to here, if we manage to poke into this area here, then I think we'll probably attract a lot of selling pressure from there. So that's another area that's interesting and worth watching. You can also see these on the smaller time frames. I like to look at the 4-hour and up, but these are also interesting to watch on the smaller time frames. We have the half-an-hour chart. You can see here on the pound, American dollar, we have a small continuation pattern that happened here. Not a lot of trading in that area at the 130.50. So price rallied. We sat in the air for a little bit of time, and then price left. Okay, so this is a nice push higher from this area, so that could be worth watching. And you can just, what I'm doing in the mornings is I'm normally just scanning, like so, dragging the pairs onto the charts and looking. You see we have another push here, probably an hourly push. I like this one here as well. This is a very nice area. Okay, so price rallied, we moved sideways a little bit, and then we pushed higher. Okay, so this is another interesting area. And so, well, I like to look on the big time frames. You can also focus on the smaller time frames, and you can do so by just dragging the chart, the symbols onto the chart. What you want to do is you want to be paying attention to the major flows, and you can do this by zooming out and just dragging like this, and you can see. So you can see here that here we're moving lower. Okay, and we have a couple of areas of supply here. We have something here, bit of a lot of trading there, but on the bigger time frame it's going to look a little bit nicer. So we do have this here. We box off all those areas. We have this at the 85.22 on the Euro British pound, but we would be selling into monthly demand. Okay, you can see the price is poking into this demand here, but we do have the slingshots pull back to here. As a matter of fact, even lower down here, so we'll probably have a bounce once we get down to this area here. What is that? I can't even see what that is. Let's have a look. I can't read that. Okay, the 82, about the 82.50 area. Okay, and price is racing lower. So we've actually taken out this this demand here. So there's something in here that's strong enough to do that. So you could look for a short because this area has been removed. And we do have this little micro area that we saw just a minute ago on the hourly chart. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see it just here. Okay, this is just a really nice departure. Price cut through. It has not been back since. There is a lot of trading in this area, but this is a strong push lower. We also have this one here above it, which I like, and also this one here. You can see we had a bit of a gap lower. If we put something like that, we do have a few areas that we could watch on this chart, and it's just a matter of going to the smaller time frames, zooming out all the way, and dragging symbols onto the chart, and they'll jump out at you very clearly. You see here, you're looking here, you can see here we had a nice green candle here, so we have something down here, a potential buying opportunity. Go to the Euro Franc. What do we have? Well, we had a lot of boxes here, so this is telling us we had demand. Pipnotic software pointing to this for us. Price poked into it, and this is where we departed from. Okay, so you can do this very, very clearly. We had this area of supply marked off by the software. So price left, we accumulated for a short period of time, and then we went down, then price returned to it twice. We had a kind of divergence into the area, and then price really cut away very forcefully. So you can do this very quickly. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Then you can just drag them over one at a time. Just look for those patterns that you like. Okay, and there are a few patterns jumping out, as you'll see when you do this. And if you train your eye to see these patterns, then you'll be able to see them with very little difficulty. We'll just see if we can find a few more. We have a nice pattern up here, which I like. Okay, and the reason I chose this one and not something down here is because this is where prices came back to historically. So I want to be selling for a price higher than these pullbacks here. Okay, so looking for this whole price structure, I want to be looking to sell above there because this is where the real value is. Look at the pound yen. I'm going to go to a bigger time frame if there's no clarity. We do have this area here, which I like, waiting for price to come down. We'll see what happens once it comes there. We have this one here, but we also have trading kind of below that area there, so there's no real demand at this area here. I like this one here because price rallied, moved sideways, and then left. So this is more interesting to us. If we go to the 4-hour chart, you can notice that we do have a couple of areas here that are interesting. We have this one here, which is looking pretty nice, just a nice strong move away, like so. I like that very much as well. This is at the 144, about the 14500 area. I think we'll probably have a bit of a bounce at that area, but notice here as well that we did have a lot of trading at these price levels historically, so this is something that would make me be a little bit careful. We have a look here at the CAD Japanese yen. Go to the small time frames. So if we have a look here, we had this area here which is already tested. We formed this chart below, it was tested, price went to it, and we do have this area here which is still to be tested, 83.18. We zoom in and have a closer look. Yeah, this looks like a nice area. And look also, price really left quickly. So price left, price has not been back to it, it's been back to this level here. So the beginning of the sell zone starts here at the 83.11. This is just beyond that area. Okay, so you can find these very quickly. And if you're in front of the charts and you can manage these trades manually, well then you can wait for price to come to your area and manage them aggressively. If you're not in front of the charts, well then you need to be looking at the bigger time frames where price takes longer to evolve. If you're looking here, if you look at this, I mean there's no supply. There's no supply in here until here-ish. Okay, so what we want to do here is this is a nice profit margin here. I mean, if we find some demand down here, I mean, there's nothing here that will stop price from moving. So what we do then is we want to look lower. So you can go to the 4-hour chart, and we found this here. This is a lovely departure. Look at the way this candle left. It's just standing. It's an enormous candle, and it originated from this 4-hour area of demand. We have one period of accumulation. Okay, price came down, we accumulated, and then we left. So the time, price did not spend a whole lot of time in this price point here, and then it left very quickly. Okay, so you can see here the beginning of the buy zone was here. Price came to it, and kind of started to drift lower. And so we're kind of probably going to have a bit of a bounce at this area at some stage. So very interesting point here, I think. We continue to move and look beyond. We have this little one here. This is a short-term trade here. I would not leave this on, but I would certainly have a go at it while I'm sitting in front of my computer. And I like this because price went up, moved sideways, and then left. Okay, we came close to it, but then we didn't get filled, but I'm waiting for price to come up again. You could debate the price has been back to this area before. It's been back here at this price point. But if you're in front of the computer and you can manage this manually, then I think that you'll do just fine. You can at least reduce the risk or take partial profit to fund the stop on the second half of the trade. We also have this really nice cutaway here. This is a tremendous move away from this area here. So we can maybe see if price has a bit of a bounce at this price point here. That's a very strong push higher. But what I don't like is this stuff here below. Okay, so this would have to be managed a little bit aggressively, but I do like the way price moved away super quickly from that price point. Looking at the Australian dollar, Singaporean dollar, we do have this. Okay, this is interesting to us. We do have kind of a similar thing we had on the Aussie CAD, where price kind of moved slowly higher, but we have a very strong departure. So you could do the whole area like this. To the entry of the 92.74ish area. I think this would be probably an interesting trade because price had such a strong move away. Okay, and what we like to do is we like to look for historical areas that were respected, which we had tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. This area sat on it, and then we cut through it. Okay, so this is the one here that's responsible for removing this supply here. So that could be an interesting area here, the 92.73 area. I like that. Matter of fact, I'm going to put an alert there. If we have a look at the Aussie Swiss franc, what do we have here? Our price is messing around. You can see it's moving. It's been up to this area here, and it's been down to this here. Okay. I don't like anything here. I like this one down here. The beginning of the buy zone is here. The beginning of the sell zone is the high where price came to. But there's nothing too attractive there. I would certainly look higher. Okay, and so there's nothing here. There's no supply. What we do have, we look a little bit higher. You can see we're going to have to go to the 4-hour chart to find clarity, but we do have something in here, so we'll box this off and then we'll look for that on the 4-hour chart. If my broker has data, yeah, we don't have anything here. We have it from here. Okay, sorry about that. The water filter guys came. Okay, so here you can see we had price move high. We sat on this area for a while. On the daily, it's probably clear, and then boom, price left. Look at that candle there. This. I do not have an account that can trade, that can do this. I don't know anyone who has an account that could make price move like that. This is big financial institutions that are selling here. Okay, and so look, price is there for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then it left. Okay, so that's a lot of selling pressure there. So I'm thinking if price comes back up to that level again in the future, well, I will certainly try to ride on the back of giants, which is essentially what we're doing when we're trading supply and demand. Okay, this is a very nice area to sell at for this reason. You can see price kind of moved up into the area, didn't really care about it, and then sat there, and then boom. Okay, and then price has not been back to that area since it was established. We only came to the 72.06 area. So when price comes back up here, then I think we could certainly expect price to have a bounce. Okay, so I'm just going to put that order in. This is at the 0.7232. I have a utility for putting in my stops. There we are. So put it in. We're going to put it up there. Okay. 1 to 1, 2 to 1, and 3 to 1. So we'll leave it on 3 to 1 for now, and then we'll see what happens once price gets there. Because essentially our target needs to be at opposing demand, but we can't see the demand yet. We don't know what demand will look like once it gets there. So if we have demand forming right below this area of supply, well then I would be keen to get out of it, okay? Because we have to have a good risk-reward ratio, which we will not have if we have demand just below the area. So we want maybe a nice inefficient move up into the area, because this is when we'll expect price to kind of fade off and move back to the origin of this inefficient move before it attracts more buyers to push price higher. Okay, so that's what we have there. Okay, well, good. But I'm gonna leave it at that. We have plenty to look at and keep an eye on. But if you have any questions, please send them in. Post comments in the videos, and otherwise I will catch you again soon. Thanks for watching.